A printing plant outside Oakwood, Georgia, 1989. A man in a pressed suit walks through the most secure promotional supply chain in America with two small stickers in his breast pocket. He does not force a lock. He does not bribe a guard. He built the locks. He hired the guards. His name is Jerome Jacobson. Everyone who works under him calls him Uncle Jerry. He is the director of security, and in a few hours, he will step into a men's restroom at an airport, slice open a tamper-proof corporate envelope, swap a $1 million game piece for one worth a free order of fries, and seal it shut again with a sticker of his own. Just outside the door, the independent auditor waits. She notices nothing. Nothing happens. No alarm, no phone call, no FBI. And because nothing happens, it will happen again and again for 12 years, roughly 60 winning pieces. Around $24 million in prizes, handed first to family, then to friends, then to the mob. 21 people indicted, more than 50 convicted after them. Here's the part nobody believes at first. He is the man McDonald's is paying to stop exactly this. He wrote the manual that explains how to catch a thief inside this system. One day he will be asked to investigate his own theft, and he will clear his own name, in writing on company letterhead. And when it finally falls apart, the biggest fraud in the history of American retail will disappear from the news in a single morning on a date the whole world remembers for something else entirely. So how does the one man paid to keep this game honest quietly rob it for 12 years and almost erase himself from the record? To understand it, go back before the airport bathrooms. Go back to Florida. Jerome Jacobson wants order. He wants it more than money, more than comfort, more than almost anything. In his late 20s, he joins the police force. He wears the badge. He enforces the rules. It fits him. Then it ends. A wrist injury, and after about a year, he is off the force on disability. The badge is gone. The gun is gone. The one identity he had built for himself is gone with them. He drifts into printing work, and in the late 80s, a company called Simon Marketing hires him. You have never heard of Simon Marketing, but you have held their work in your hand. They run the promotions for McDonald's, the scratch cards, the peel-off stickers, the Monopoly game that turns a carton of fries into a lottery ticket. The contract is worth around $500 million, and the winning pieces, the real ones, the $1 million ones, have to be printed, guarded, and delivered without a single one leaking out. Somebody has to own that problem. That somebody is Jacobson. And he is good at it, genuinely, obsessively good. He designs the security system himself, and he designs it to be paranoid. The winning pieces travel in a locked case. He picks tamper-proof seals that shatter the moment anyone tries to peel them. He orders the floor workers to wear shoes with no pockets and no laces. No employee is ever left alone with a high-value piece. He makes the outside auditors sign layer after layer of paperwork before they are allowed to touch anything. He inspects the seals under magnification. There is only one flaw in the whole design, and it is not a flaw you can see. Every rule he wrote assumes the threat comes from below him. A greedy worker, a careless auditor, an outsider trying to break in. Not one line of it accounts for the man sitting at the top of the chain, holding the only set of keys. An FBI agent put it best years later. He was the fox guarding the henhouse. But he was a very smart fox. He had written the farmer's handbook on how to catch a fox, so he already knew where every trap in the field was buried. For all of this, Jacobson earns about $70,000 a year. Not nothing, not a fortune. A salary, a title, and the complete trust of one of the most recognizable companies on Earth, which has no idea that the man guarding its vault is already standing inside it. He built the trap himself. Then he stepped over it. So picture the machine he is guarding. Every year, McDonald's Monopoly prints millions of game pieces. Most are worthless. Free coffee, $1 off, a side of fries. Buried inside that ocean of losing tickets are a handful of instant winners. And at the very top, the rarest pieces of all, the ones that pay a full $1 million spread across 20 years. Those top pieces are the entire problem. If even one of them leaks to the wrong person before the game begins, the whole promotion is rigged from the start. So they are pulled out and moved, by hand, under guard, through a chain of custody that Jacobson designed to be unbreakable. Walk through it the way an auditor would. Layer 1, the seals. Every high-value piece travels inside an envelope closed with a tamper-proof sticker. Peel it, and it shatters. You cannot open that envelope and close it again without leaving a corpse of torn foil behind. Layer 2, the case. The winning pieces ride in a locked briefcase, and the briefcase never leaves Jacobson's hand between the printing plant and the packaging center. Layer 3, the auditor. On every trip, an independent auditor travels with him, almost always a woman. Her whole job is to keep that sealed case in her sight, from the moment they board the plane to the moment the pieces are locked into the packaging line. She checks the seal when they take off, she checks it again when they land. Layer 4, the list. When a winner finally comes forward for their $1 million, McDonald's runs the name against a list of Simon marketing employees and their families. No insider can ever cash a piece. That is the rule. 4 layers. On paper, airtight. And Jacobson knows they are airtight because he is the one who stayed up nights making them that way. To everyone above him and below him, he is the strictest man in the building. He is the one who makes the auditors from the accounting firm sign compliance forms in triplicate. He is the one who holds the seals up to the light. If you wanted to name the single employee least likely to ever steal a winning piece, you would name him. That is not an accident. That is the disguise, and he wears it for 12 years. Here's the thing about building a maze. The man who draws it never has to solve it. He just walks in through the wall. Look again at Layer 3. The auditor keeps the case in her sight the entire trip, with one unavoidable exception. She is a woman, he is a man, and on a long airport connection, there is exactly one room she cannot follow him into. The men's restroom. For a few minutes, on a bathroom floor between flights, the sealed case sits alone with the one person in the world it was never protected against. No camera, no auditor, no second signature. Just Jacobson, a locked stall, and the pieces he has sworn to protect. He has found the gap. He has known about it for a while. There is only one thing still missing. To slit a sealed envelope open and close it again, invisibly, he needs his own supply of those shatterproof seals, the exact ones. And the seals are the single most tightly controlled item in the whole operation. He guards them himself. He cannot just run off a fresh batch without a paper trail pointing straight back at his own desk. So for all his planning, Jacobson is stuck on the last inch. He has the gap. He has the method. He does not have the one small thing that turns a daydream into a crime. And then, one ordinary day, the system he built makes a mistake for him. The mistake is almost boring. Somewhere in the chain that produces those tamper-proof seals, a supplier ships a batch to the wrong place. Instead of arriving at the secured facility, a package of the seals lands directly on Jacobson's desk. The one item he guards more carefully than anything else, handed to him by accident, with no witness and no paper trail he does not already control. He does not report it. He puts the seals in a drawer, and the last inch closes. Now watch what he does with them, because the genius of it is how little there is to see. He flies out with the auditor, exactly as always. The case is sealed. She watches it. Everything is by the book. Somewhere in the trip, on a layover, he tells her he needs the restroom. She waits outside. She has to. Inside a locked stall, he sets the case down. He lifts out the envelope holding a top-tier piece. He takes out a thin craft blade. He slits the tamper-proof seal, the one built to shatter, the one he chose precisely because it cannot be beaten. Except he is not beating it, he is swapping it. He pulls out the $1 million piece, slides in a worthless one, a free small fries, and closes the envelope again with one of his own identical seals. 4 minutes, maybe less, about the time it takes to wash your hands. He walks back out. The auditor checks the seal. It is perfect because it is genuine. They fly on. The pieces go into the packaging line, and somewhere in America, a paper cup or a fry box is about to carry $1 million prize that is sitting right now in Jacobson's breast pocket. Here is where most people expect the story to get harder. It gets easier. Because a stolen piece is just a slip of cardboard until somebody cashes it, and Jacobson cannot cash it himself. Layer 4, remember? The list. His name, his family, anyone tied to Simon Marketing, all barred. So he needs other people. Ordinary people with ordinary last names who will step into the light, hold the giant check, and smile. He starts close to home. A stepbrother in another state, different surname. A friend, an acquaintance in Atlanta. The terms are always the same and they are always explained the same way. Quietly, across a kitchen table, never with a witness in the room. You take this piece, you mail it to McDonald's, your name is not on any list, so you pass. If they ask, you go on television and you cry a little. You hold the check, you say thank you. Then you wire my share back to me, in cash. They do it. And it works, because from the outside, there is nothing to catch. Now think about what McDonald's does next, without the faintest idea. A proxy cashes a piece. McDonald's confirms the win. McDonald's cuts a real corporate check. McDonald's issues a tax form, a clean government document stating that this person legitimately won $1 million. By the time Jacobson's cut reaches him in cash, it has already been washed through the accounting department of one of the largest companies on earth. He does not launder the money, they launder it for him. He does not build a distribution network, they built one for him, and they pay him $70,000 a year to run it. For a few years, this is enough. A winner here, a winner there, a slow drip of tearful strangers on television collecting prizes that were placed in their hands by a man most of them have never met. But there is a ceiling. His circle of people with clean names and steady nerves is small, and every time he uses someone, he uses them up. To keep reaching the biggest prizes again and again, he needs more bodies than one man can gather at kitchen tables. He needs a network that already exists. One built for exactly this kind of quiet, deniable movement of money. He is about to find one. At an airport, of all places. 1995, Atlanta Airport. Jacobson meets a man named Gennaro Colombo. Everyone calls him Jerry, too, which is its own small joke, because now there are two Jerrys at the center of this. Colombo runs nightclubs, a casino operation, a betting ring, mostly out of South Carolina. He tells people he is tied to the Colombo crime family in New York, and the name is real. But what Jacobson sees when he looks at him is not a gangster. It is a solution. Because Colombo has the one thing Jacobson has run out of. People. Clean-faced, ordinary named people scattered across states who will do what they are told and keep quiet about it. A distribution network, already built, already loyal, already used to moving money without leaving fingerprints. The arrangement is simple. Jacobson supplies the winning pieces. Colombo supplies the winners. They split it down the middle, in cash. Colombo takes the first big one for himself, a Dodge Viper. He films the commercial, the whole grinning routine, right up until it turns out he is too broad in the shoulders to actually fit in the car. So he takes the cash instead, and keeps the story. And the network moves fast. To make sure nobody gets brave, Colombo adds a rule of his own. Before you receive a winning piece, you pay a deposit, $50,000 upfront in cash. Some of the recruits do not have $50,000, so they mortgage their houses to raise it. Then they drive to the restaurant, peel the piece, act surprised, and go on television to cry about their good luck. Sit with that for a second. At McDonald's headquarters, executives are watching footage of real Americans, single mothers, retired grandfathers, breaking down in tears as they hold their oversized checks. The company runs the best of it as commercials. Feel good, prime time, look what we give away goodwill. And every one of those winners was chosen. Every tier was on a schedule. The same week those commercials air, in a parked car in a quiet Georgia neighborhood, Jacobson sits counting cash kickbacks from the exact people weeping on the screen. He is doing well now, and he lets himself enjoy it. He flies first class. He wears the good suits. After a delivery, he stops at a steakhouse, orders far too much food, and charges it to his expense account. Because the company is paying, and the company always pays. But when you get to decide who wins for long enough, something turns inside you. It stops being only about the money. Around this time, $1 million piece is donated anonymously to a children's cancer hospital. No proxy, no kickback, no cut for anyone. McDonald's rules are clear that pieces cannot be transferred or given away. And now, the company is trapped. Deny the prize, and they are the corporation that stiffed a children's hospital on national television. Pay it, and they break their own rules on camera. They pay. Nobody can prove who sent the piece or why, but it is hard not to read it as a man testing a quiet, private question. Can I make a giant corporation break its own rules just to see if it will? Then, in the middle of all of it, the plan loses its best piece. May of 1998, Colombo is in a car crash. He survives the impact, but 2 weeks later he is taken off life support, and Jacobson's main line to the outside world is simply gone. He does not stop. He does not even slow down. He finds new recruiters. A psychic working out of a Florida strip mall, a real estate developer, a strip club operator. The pieces keep flowing. The tears keep flowing. The checks keep clearing. For 12 years, nobody on the outside sees a thing. And then, in the spring of 2000, a phone rings in an FBI field office in Jacksonville, Florida. The voice on the line does not give its own name. It gives 3 others, 3 recent $1 million winners. And it says something that should be impossible. These people are all connected. This game is fixed. There is a man behind it. They call him Uncle Jerry. The agent who picks it up is named Doug Matthews, and for the first time in over a decade, someone is about to do the one thing Jacobson's entire system was designed to prevent. Somebody is going to check. Doug Matthews does something almost laughably simple. He starts pulling records. Bank accounts, property deeds, family trees, sketched by hand on a whiteboard in a locked conference room. He takes the winners, the tearful grandfathers and lucky mothers from a decade of commercials, and he asks the one question nobody at McDonald's ever thought to ask. Do any of you know each other? The answer breaks the case wide open. The odds against one person winning the $1 million prize are already astronomical. The odds against 2 separate winners turning out to be financially connected should be, for all practical purposes, 0. And yet here they are. One winner sold a house to another winner's brother-in-law. One married into a family with mob ties. One wired cash right after collecting to a company registered in Georgia. Winner after winner, across the country, across a decade, every single one connects to every other by no more than a step or two. And every chain, followed far enough, leads back to the same address, Simon Marketing. And inside it, one office, the Director of Security. Now, the promise from the very beginning comes due, and it is uglier than it first sounded, because this was not the first time anyone noticed. Earlier, inside the company, someone had flagged that a strange number of winners seemed to cluster in the same corner of the map. Questions were raised, and the man the company turned to, the man they asked to look into it and tell them whether something was wrong, was the head of security. Jacobson investigated himself. He reported back that there was nothing to worry about, a quirk of how the pieces were printed and shipped, a coincidence. They believed him, because why wouldn't they? He closed the review and went back to stealing. For 12 years, a former cop investigated his own crimes and signed off on his own innocence. The FBI does not make that mistake. In early 2001, Matthews and his team sit the McDonald's executives down and tell them the truth. Your head of security has been robbing you for over a decade. Your entire prize budget has been feeding a fraud ring.
We're finished.
The executives want to shut the game down that day. Matthews asks them for the hardest thing instead.
Are you sure?
Keep it running. Let the next $1 million piece go out. Do not touch Jacobson. Do not change a thing. McDonald's agrees. It launches a fresh promotion knowing it is rigged, knowing more money will be stolen, purely to bait a trap for its own employee. The piece goes out exactly as designed. Jacobson runs his routine, the airport, the auditor, the restroom, and $1 million piece ends up in the hands of a man named Michael Hoover in Rhode Island. Hoover calls McDonald's to claim his prize. The call is routed straight to the FBI. Then comes the part that is almost too perfect. McDonald's offers to send a film crew to record Hoover's winning story for a commercial. The crew that shows up is the FBI. Cameras, lights, a boom microphone, laminated production badges, the whole set. They sit Hoover down in his own living room and ask him to explain, on camera, exactly how he found the piece.
I saw the opportunity.
Warmly, in detail,
I
with
just
a big
knew
smile,
this
telling a
was it.
story he has
This was my
completely
chance,
invented.
and I took it.
He has no
And that's how we
idea that the
approach the
man
market,
behind the camera is
with
carrying
complete
a federal
transparency.
badge in his jacket. He is filming his own confession in high definition and thanking them for the opportunity. The wiretaps finish it.
From Rhode Island.
Agents listen as
I just
Hoover
picked
calls
up.
his handler to
I've
keep
got
their
it.
story
Logging
straight.
the connection now.
And they follow the
connection
calls
chain leads
upward,
here.
link by link, until a recorded line reaches a familiar voice in Georgia.
We're
Uncle
initiating
Jerry.
the next phase now.
For 12 years, he had filmed other people's lives for a living. Now the camera was pointing the other way. August 22nd, 2001.
Knock.
Dawn raids across the eastern United States. Jerome Jacobson is arrested at his home in Georgia. Press close,
Mr.
no
Jones,
shouting, no
We
resistance.
have a
He
warrant.
looks at the badges and
Please
says
step
almost
away
nothing.
From the house.
Inside, the duplicate seals, the transit logs, the records of cash moving state after state. 21 people are indicted at first. In the end, more than 50 are convicted. The mob distributors, the psychic, the developer, the strip club operator, the proxy winners who mortgaged their homes to weep on television. Jacobson pleads guilty. He is sentenced to 37 months in federal prison and ordered to repay $12.5 million he does not have. Simon Marketing loses the McDonald's contract, and without it, the company collapses, taking hundreds of ordinary jobs down with it. McDonald's
moving.
spends millions more on a hurried
Careful,
new
we have to
giveaway,
do it right.
trying to convince customers the
reaction.
games had ever been fair.
Still don't look.
And then, before the country can really absorb any of it, the story simply disappears. The trial opens on September 10th, 2001. The next morning, every camera in America turns toward Lower Manhattan, and it does not turn back. The biggest fraud in the history of American retail dissolves off the air in a single morning, buried under a catastrophe on a scale nobody had words for. So think about how it actually ended. A man spent 12 years building the safest promotional system in the country, then spent the same 12 years defeating it, alone, on bathroom floors, with a knife and a handful of stickers that had been mailed to him by mistake. He was not undone by a smarter criminal or a sharper guard. He was undone by a single phone call. And then he was forgotten because of a date. 2 small stickers in a breast pocket, $24 million, 12 years, and almost no one remembers his name.